Just really pleased on the way we played last week after having a bye week and starting the game fast. I thought our kids were fresh and focused. I really thought we played physical and with really good fundamentals, which is the two things we've really stressed as a team. Defensively, you know, we held them to 74 yards rushing, which was big. We got the interception on the first drive, which was important. And then to hold them to 86 yards passing was really big. You know, offensively, 636 yards of total offense, one of our best offensive performances, 254 rushing, 6.3 per rush. I thought Ty was really sharp, throwing for 404, 4 touchdowns. A little disappointed in our sharpness on special teams. Way too many penalties. Mostly from freshman players, you know, young freshman players, and we really got to try to correct that. And then I really wasn't happy with our fourth quarter. We got outscored in the fourth quarter, and we want to finish a lot stronger than that. So, you know, we watched the film today. We have a lot of things that we can improve and get better at, and we're really working to do that. Lost the turnover battle. I thought Ty did a great job of protecting the football, but overall, we had 2 turnovers, and we got to do a better job there. So we're traveling to play San Jose State, taking a bus trip over the mountain this week. Got to go on the road in conference. It's an important game for us. You know, we're playing a team that doesn't have a good record, but they've been in 5 of their conference games have gone right down to the wire. They played a couple overtime games. They play very, very hard every week. We've seen them on film, and they're much improved, even though their record doesn't show it. Have very capable players. Offensively, the strength of their personnel is their wide receivers and their tight ends. They have big athletic kids at their skill positions, and they run around really well. You know, their senior quarterback, Josh Love, has really done a better job for them and leading their offense. Defensively, they're an odd front team, very similar to what we do in their front, you know, led by defensive end Bryson Bridges, who leads the Mountain West with D lineman with 58 tackles. Linebacker Jamal Scott does a very good job, leads their team in tackles, and then their cornerback, Dakari Monroe, has 4 interceptions and 13 PBUs. He's a really talented corner. So they're very, very capable. You know, overall, we're really excited to prepare. We had a good Monday workout today, good film session. You know, Nevada's been playing this team since 1899, which is a very long time. So we really respect the rivalry. And overall, it's just another important step for our goals. We get a chance to get our 7th win, which is really big for us. So our kids are really anxious and eager to perform. So with that, any questions?
With regards to your quarterback, what's it been like to coach him from the time you got here to right now?
Just great. I mean, me and Ty had some really great discussions early on, and you know, when we first got here, and we kind of had an open competition for our quarterback, and we didn't always disagree or agree on everything, and you know, I told him some personal stories of mine and how I had to compete when I was in school, and he just took the challenge. And I think that's the thing I most respect about Ty Ganji, is that he's let his performance do the talking for him. He's worked extremely hard to gain the respect of his teammates and his coaches, and he fully has this team. They all believe in Ty, so it's been great to work with him. You know, he's a really smart player, and as a coach, you can communicate with him on a different level than you communicate with your other guys, and he gets it and totally understands our system. Did a great job Saturday of getting in and out of plays. You know, he got into some runs that were just wide open runs. The long run to Toa, he made a check and got it to Toa, and then the touchdown that Kincaid had, he checked to it, which was awesome. And that's when this offense can be really dangerous, when we can run the ball, when we have the right looks, and we can throw the ball when we have the advantage there. So Ty gets it. He's done a great job, and he threw the ball about as well as he's had since he's been here last week.
Romeo really had a good game last week, I guess. What did you guys see in him in the recruiting process? I think he was mostly a quarterback.
Well, that's the thing that I think people have to remember. He's just learning how to play wide receiver. He's played 10 games at receiver. He was a quarterback in high school. Like a lot of high school teams, they put their best athlete at quarterback, and so we saw in him great acceleration, great ball skills, and he just had a great ability to make people miss with the ball in his hands, and we felt like he'd be a tremendous wide receiver, and he's taken that on. He's just really learning how to play, how to run routes consistently. But if you ever watch him practice, I know you've been at a lot of practices, he works as hard as anybody, and that's how you really improve as a receiver. Is you come every day, you run routes full speed, and you learn how to read coverages. And as a young athlete, that's probably the biggest thing you have to learn as a receiver, is how to learn coverages. And so he's learning that. He gets better every week, and he improves because he practices so hard. So I wasn't surprised to see him have a big game. We're pushing the other one, Cole Turner. He's another kid that practices really hard, and hopefully we can get the ball in his hands here the next couple weeks.
What is it about Romeo that made him make that transition to a position he hadn't played and be so good as a true freshman?
I think Coach Scott did a great job of communicating with him and seeing that in him. A lot of coaches have a hard time projecting players to play other positions, but I think your experience allows you to see qualities in players which will allow us to project him. And so he's a guy that just was really smart, really athletic, and has ability to make people miss in space, and so all those qualities have really helped us. The other guy that was like that for us last year was Dan Henley. Dan Henley was a quarterback in high school at Crenshaw and didn't ever play receiver until we got him. So, Coach Scott's done a great job of developing both those guys.
What's Toa Taua meant to the team this year?
Toa is really gave us a dimension that we were missing last year. One of the things that we wanted to do a better job this year is finishing runs downfield, making big runs down the field. Last year we would block a play and get the back into the secondary, and we wouldn't make as many big plays. And Toa has really allowed us to be more explosive at the second level, finishing big runs, making people miss, and making big plays in the running game. And those two guys they're kind of like lightning and thunder. Toa and Devontae. Devontae comes in and runs a bunch of our short yards, goal line stuff, and really punishes people when he comes in. And Toa does a great job of exploding and getting to the second level and making people miss. So we want to continue that. I think it's a real strength that we have. More than one back that can do a lot of things for us offensively. They can stay fresh and takes a lot of pounding off their bodies. But those guys have really added a lot of physicality to our run game, which has improved tremendously this year.
Talking about a lot of true freshmen here, do you allow yourself at all to think, man, this is huge for them going forward? This could be really special when they.
No, I really think that that's the exciting thing about our team. 70% of the roster is all young players. We've talked a lot about how your job as a Nevada football player is to improve and get better every day. And so we practice really hard, and we get better every day because of the way we practice. But it's exciting offensively because we have two true freshmen that are starting for us. We have a number of other freshmen that come in and play, and those guys are only going to get better. And I think we're like 33rd in the nation in total offense, and we're moving up. We're moving up. We have a chance to continue to move up as we finish this season. So we have a lot to accomplish. We feel like we can play even better offensively. It was great to see us hit on all cylinders last week, and like I said, we weren't happy with the fourth quarter, but we want to put 4 quarters of football together this week.
You mentioned last week, too, how important it is what these guys put in their heads. And once again, you guys are heavy favorites, which you say you don't pay attention to, but they obviously know it. How do you address that?
We just talk about preparing the right way. And today we had great focus in practice. We expect the same tomorrow and Wednesday. And if we prepare well, we'll get ourselves ready to play well. And we feel like we should execute. We feel like we should be productive when we get a chance to move the football offensively. And defensively, I think this team has a shutout in them. I really do. We challenge them for that. We have the kind of attitude that we don't expect people to move the ball on us. So that's got to continue. We got to be hungry to stop people. I was disappointed this last week when we played so well for 3 quarters and then we let them in. So there's a lot of things that we can be much better at, and we're focusing in on those. And we certainly want to press for that type of performance this week.
How does offensively this game set the tone for the last 2 regular season games?
We really want to, build momentum, and I was kind of torn. I wasn't sure how we would come out the first series last week after having a bye week. And we came out fast and we scored after the turnover. We need to do the same thing this week. It's really important on the road that you set the tempo and you come out fast and then finish strong. So those are the things we emphasize and we talk about. And, this is a defense. They don't do a lot of different things. But we got to come out and run the ball effectively and be sharp in the passing game and really protect the football. If we do that, I think we'll have some success.
How has this team's confidence or feeling about itself changed from when you guys first took the field 3 months ago?
I think it's building. I think our confidence is getting better. I think, there's an expectation to perform, and that's coming from internally, and I've said this before, so much last year was us coaches, preaching to the players and asking them for their focus and attention. They do that on each other now. Our captains, our leadership, our seniors have done a great job of putting pressure on their teammates to perform. And, there's a real disappointment when guys don't step up and do their job. And so I think that accountability is filtered throughout our team, and there's an expectation to perform. And it comes really from our seniors. And so we've got to continue that. We feel like, when we go out on the field, we should move the ball offensively and we should play good defense and we should make plays on special teams. And so there's an expectation to do that now, where before, there was kind of a hope, or guys were waiting around looking for somebody else to do the job. And that personal accountability is something that we've really, really enforced with this team, and they've embraced it.
Mountain West is at 3 different teams in the top 25 the last 2 weeks. I know you've coached in the Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12, basically everywhere. How would the Mountain West, now that you've been through it almost a year and a half, kind of compare to those conferences? Is there a big jump from the Power 5 teams?
I think it's very comparable. I'm so impressed week to week at the coaching in this conference, and the coaches in this conference make you a better coach. When you have to play Air Force and you have to prepare for them, and then you have to play Hawaii and you got the run and shoot. And every team in this league poses a huge challenge, and they're very well coached. So it makes you a better coach week to week, and I think it challenges our staff week to week. So, I don't think there's any question of the Group of 5 leagues. We have the best and most competitive league, top to bottom, and that's why it really it gives yourself a lot of satisfaction on the improvement that we've made, and then that we have to continue to make these next 2 weeks. So I think our league's comparable to a lot of the Power 5 leagues as far as the coaching and the talent. We had 3 first-round draft picks in our league last year, so we have a lot of talent in this league, and also great coaching.
When you mentioned San Jose's record, I think they've won 2 games the last 2 years. Where are they dangerous? Where could they potentially create some problems?
I think they've improved defensively. Even though the stats don't really show it, I think they're playing a lot harder. They've got quality players at each level, at linebacker, it's in the secondary and in the D-line. I think their skill players on offense are very talented. Their wide receivers have playmaking ability. They make big plays against everybody they play against. And those are the same kids that are returning kickoffs for them. They're very strong in that area. So, they played a lot of close games. 5 of their conference games, I think, are decided by a touchdown or less. And so we've got to be prepared. It's an environment, that we have to get up for, and we have to bring energy. We can't wait on them to do it. So, there's challenges to every game, and this one certainly has its own. And it's more about us and the energy we bring and the focus that we bring. And so we got to be challenged to play our very best.
There's no question that this team now is way better than it was the first couple of games. You look at Vanderbilt or Toledo. I mean, how much satisfaction do you see in your group of coaches being able to develop this team over the last couple of months and make it a different product than we saw?
I think in this stretch, since we've played Air Force, I think our coaching staff has done a fabulous job of showing improvement week to week. And I take a lot of pride in the second half of the San Diego State game. The way we started that game, we got behind by 2 touchdowns. We settled our team down and made the proper adjustments at halftime. I just think our staff did a tremendous job in that game. And then preparing this last 2 weeks, our goal is always to improve week in and week out. I think this team is a much different team than what we were in the non-conference. I'd love to take this team back and try to play those games again. Obviously, you can't do that, but we got to continue to improve. We need to show improvement this week. We got 2 games left to see how good we can be in all phases, and that's our goal. We want to show the league and everybody else the type of team we have, and play our best football down the stretch.
You feel like the team's getting more respect? I mean, do you hear different things from coaches?
I think we are. I've gotten different signs from that, from our opponents, the way our opponents prepare for us, and even the officials. We're seeing crews that we hadn't seen before, which means we're getting more respect from our league, and that's good. And one of the officials said, they got a sign because they felt like this was going to be a real physical game. And so that's a credit to how our team's playing. We're getting more a reputation of being more physical, playing really hard. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing that gains your respect. And, I told our team before the game last week, this team beat us last year, 44-42. The only way a team's going to respect you if you play physical and you play with great fundamentals, and that's been our goal with this team from the start, and we're starting to show that more consistently.
Coach, not looking too far ahead, but becoming bowl eligible, how are you telling the guys that they still need to stay focused?
Well, I mean, the way bowls work, the more games you win and the better you play, the better the bowl you get. So that's kind of the way we hold that carrot out in front of them, and we tell them, if you want to play in the best bowl game, then you got to play great, and it always helps to play great at the end. So we want to be hot. We want to be the team that's running on all cylinders. We want to be the team that people want to put in their bowl game and put on television. So, I think our kids are understanding how that works, and it's important that they understand because it's going to affect where they get placed.
There's still a chance for a Mountain West title out there. What does it mean to you that the games you're playing in this portion of the season really have a lot of impact and meaning with regards to that?
Well, you earn that right by how you play in September and October. I mean, there's an old saying, you always remember the games in November, and that's why, because you're playing for something. And, I think about the last couple decades, all the games in the last month of the season when you're really playing for something and they're meaningful. And so that's why our kids prepare all year. That's why they lift weights and run sprints and do all the things they do, is so these last few games really mean something. We're still in the hunt. We're not mathematically eliminated from being the representative of our division. So we just want to keep playing hard and see what happens. You know, we had to go through a real tough stretch in our schedule, and now other people are going through tough stretches, and let's see how they handle it. And let's just continue to play well and handle what we can control, and that's just playing well this week.
Coach, a few minutes ago you talked about the different leagues that you've been a part of, player and coach and that sort of. So you've seen rivalry games, and my question is as this week approaches, is there any danger of a trap of looking a little too far ahead to UNLV, or is the message clear that it's San Jose State week?
No, I haven't even said anything about them. So, you know we have a game this week, and it's an important game, and I don't think there's any chance of that. You know, our whole coaching staff and our team, we're completely focused on San Jose, and that's all we've talked about. You know, we got an opportunity to win our 7th game, which is huge, and so we're all totally focused in on that.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Questions for Toa?
What do you make of the way you guys are playing right now, man? Really in all phases.
You said what?
I'm sorry. What do you make of the way you guys are playing right now in all phases? You got to feel pretty good in that locker room.
Oh man, it's a great feeling going around in the locker room right now. You know, just the togetherness we're bringing from the wins we've accomplished these past couple of weeks, and you know, just trying to get better every day.
What did it mean to have a game? And as Coach said, there was things to clean up, but what did it mean to have a game where you kind of were able to, you know, put your foot on an opponent a little bit, squash them a little bit?
Oh man, it was a great feeling. You know, just going out and executing what we've been working so hard throughout the whole week. You know, preparing for these guys, and you know, coming out with the outcome of the game. You know, it was pretty good. It was a great feeling.
Coach touched on the different aspects that the running backs can bring, and you reaching the 2nd level and Devontae being kind of a bowling ball and all that. Was that your most complete game as a running back group, do you think? Were you guys pretty satisfied with that?
Definitely a lot of work to be done, but that had to be one of the most productive games out of the running back groups that we've had so far during the season. But there's a lot more to look forward to, and looking forward to showing you guys a lot more.
A lot of running backs can get what's given to them, but what is the key to making big yards in the 2nd level when you are one-on-one with the guy? And it seems like a skill that you have, you know, pretty well down.
You know, just obviously when you get to the 2nd level, you know, you want to try to avoid contact since you're in open field. So really just trying to make that last guy, that last safety miss, that last corner, you know, and try to get upfield with it. But that's one of the main things we really try to work on in the running back group, just trying to get to the 2nd level and make them miss.
Is that just instinctual, or is that something that, you know, in those one-on-one situations that you can be coached on how to, you know, make that guy miss?
As we do a lot of drills in practice, you know, just touch up on you know, sideline to sideline, and you know, different drills to get us you know, going to hit the 2nd level and help us execute it over there in that perspective.
Obviously, there's a lot of great seniors on this team, but the majority of the roster is pretty young. I mean, what does a season like this do in your true freshman year, kind of setting the standard for the future and what you guys want to accomplish, you know, as you become a senior and where you want to get this program to be?
Yeah, you know, the seniors help us, not even just the seniors, just all the older guys. You know, they took all us freshmen in, and you know, took us under the wing and really showed us the ropes on how things supposed to you know, be ran, and what's supposed to get done. So, you know, having that, you know, just the whole my freshman group, you know, we're really thankful for that, because, like, you know, without them, you know, it would be really hard trying to get things going as a freshman, you know, as many freshmen that are playing right now.
One of the freshmen having a big year is Romeo. He obviously had a very good game last week. What does he bring to the offense? What makes him, you know, he seems like a pretty special athlete out there.
No, yeah, definitely is. You know, as you can see, you can ditch him off a little slant, or you can throw it up top to him. He's really a really key aspect to the offense. You know, what he brings to the table, you know, how fast that guy goes, you know, in and out of his cuts. You know, he's one of the key guys to the offense.
We spent a lot of time Saturday night, and today talking about the big numbers, the skill players, guys with the ball and all that, but could you talk a little bit about the Union on Saturday where some of those holes looked to be pretty big?
Oh, man, they're opening up holes left from right, you know. And my longest run I had of the night, the hole was one of the biggest I've seen all college so far. So those guys, they work their butts off all week, you know, and starts up front. My man, Big Sean Krebs, he for sure gets the line going and makes my job a lot easier.
Being a younger guy on offense, what's it mean to you to have a senior quarterback like Ty Ganji helping you out?
Oh man, he helps me out on every play almost. You know, that guy. I'm very thankful to have that guy around. You know, he's a great competitor. He brings leadership to the team. You know, he picks up the team when we're down. He's a great guy.
You guys have a chance to have another good showing this weekend. How do you not get too ahead of yourselves or maybe get too confident in what maybe the projections for this game could be?
I mean, we take week by week every game so far this season. You know, we're just focused on San Jose. We're not worried about what we have next week or the week after that. So, you know, just the same mindset we bring every week.
Coach has talked very consistently this year about goals and knocking things off and checking boxes and that sort of thing. With 2 games left, what's next for you guys? Is it finishing 8-4? Is it getting the best bowl possible? What are you guys talking about right now?
Right now, we're talking about San Jose State and how we can accomplish getting this win over them. Right now, that's all we're really focused on. You know, even last game, Coach said we're not talking about bowl game. We're not talking about the week after that. We're focused on, you know, Colorado State, and you know, that's what we're going into this week. Focus on San Jose State and see where we go from there.
Anything else? Thank you.
Questions for Dom?
Took these guys a while to cross midfield on Saturday. What'd you like about the way you guys played?
Man, we just very confident in our play. You know, it's getting down to the end of the season, and you know, we're starting to lock in a little bit more because we know it's at stake. And you know, that was just a game that showed y'all that we're really locked in and ready and prepared for everything.
I feel like you're kind of an unsung hero on this defense. How do you feel about the season you've had so far, and just, you know, what do you enjoy about the role you have on this line?
I'm enjoying this season, you know, especially when, you know, Corey and all them was there just learning from the older guys and stuff. I'm starting to figure myself out. And, yeah, I kind of am the unsung hero. I don't get talked about a lot, but that's fine, you know, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. I feel like we're winning, so, you know, that's all that matters.
What do you think has been, maybe, what's been the key to your improvement, vast improvement throughout the season as a defensive unit?
I think now we're just starting to lock in more. We're not about ourselves, you know what I mean? We're starting to be more of a team, and we depending on the next guy to do their job. And now that we got people that's willing to do their job, it makes a lot for us easier.
Coach said he feels like you guys have a shutout in you at some point in this season. What does that mean? I mean, what does that say to you that Coach has like that sort of confidence in you guys?
To have that kind of confidence in us, that just means like we're playing good as it is, but now to give us a new obstacle, which is to shut somebody out, is to basically like, I need 4 quarters of they don't pass the 50. And, you know, we like hearing that, honestly, because we see that as like, okay, you got confidence in us shutting another team out, like no field goals, not letting them score anything. So, you know, we liked hearing that. We definitely was trying to do that Colorado State, but it didn't work out for us.
This team has been, you know, a national, 5 sacks the other night, a national leader overall in tackles for loss. So, I mean, as far as the penetration goes, is there anything you can tell us about that? Is there any particular X's and O's you guys are doing well, or is it, where's that coming from?
It's really just the film, honestly. You know, all of our coaches, we study so much film that we know if the back's offset to one side, we know it has no choice but to go that way, you know. So we pick and choose our plays. You know, we're not selfish. So definitely when we know a certain play is coming, we definitely want to tee off on it and try to get it in the backfield.
know you redshirted last year. I mean, did you want to play? And I guess what did you learn from sitting out?
I definitely wanted to play last year, but that's just how every redshirt's going to think. I'm honestly happy I didn't play last year because I don't think I was ready mentally and physically. I was a little more overweight, and mentally I wasn't in the right state of mind. But now to get to watch what happened last year, the type of effort, the type of confidence the defense had last year, it wasn't up to standard. So I knew once when I came in, I knew I was like, okay, well, I'm going to bring in confidence. I'm going to bring in, like, we're going to run to the ball, just little stuff like that. Like, we're going to have that confidence. If one of the DBs make a play, I'm going to be celebrating with the DBs. Linebackers make plays, I'm going to celebrate with them because I know if we make plays, then everybody just, that confidence is what's making our defense awesome.
Run defense really has transformed the last couple of years. Was there a key turning point, or why have you guys been so good at run defense? It doesn't seem like anybody's really been able to run on you since the Air Force came.
Honestly, it's a lot in the offseason. We got the pit. We call it the pit, and all we did was just strike hands and, get used to separating, getting guys off of us. So I think that's what we're doing differently. We're getting more knockback. So now, that just when you're behind the line, you have no choice but to make it behind the line of scrimmage. And our linebackers come downhill now way faster. So, when we get knocked back and they come downhill, it's hard to stop that. Nothing you could do.
Working on someone on Romeo. Did you play him at all in high school? Did you know of him?
It's funny because my dad actually coached for the Demos, but not when he was there. But it's funny that my dad coached there, and Romeo knows one of the coaches that I knew named Coach Rennie. We was just talking about that, how I knew about Rennie because my dad coached there. So, it's funny talking about that. But no, we didn't get to play his team at all.
What do you feel like he's brought to the offense this year?
Oh, yeah, he's brought, exciting plays. Every time I'm on the sideline, I look at the Jumbotron, I just see Romeo, doing something. He always had the ball. I remember first game when he returned that punt return, that was electrifying. And it's like, that's what the offense needs to see. We need to see big plays sometimes, As much as driving down the field would be good, we like to see big plays too, because then that makes us want to go out there, like, let us get a big play so we can give it back to them while they're hot.
There's a lot of you LA kids on the team now. How important has it been to get that pipeline back up here? I don't know how familiar you are with the history in Nevada football, but I mean, that was an area that was recruited a lot until the last coach was here, I guess. And how often do you talk to kids from out there, try and get them to come up here and kind of make this, to some degree, the LA school?
Well, just how it is for LA, it's a lot of different things going on as far as like 7-on-7 and, how recruiting is set up. They're not looking for the guys that's willing to do the extra work and stuff. They're kind of looking for like 6'5" dudes that's like 4-star, 5-star athletes. But what about the guys that are 3-star, 2-stars maybe, but will really do what they got to do their job? And, E. Scott did a good job with recruiting certain guys that he knew was going to be good, like Deion Henley, Romeo Dubs, Burdell Robbins, like just the guys that you never hear about, but like they'll make plays for you, and they've always made plays. They've always been in big games and stuff like that. So, we're trying to get that LA pipeline up here, just for the guys that's not getting recruited out in Cali or whatnot, stuff like that.
Maybe this is the school for the LA guys.
Yeah, exactly, definitely, and just how we turning it around. It's like, this is where you want to be. So E. Scott did a good job with bringing most LA kids up here.
What is it about him that people like? I mean, he seems like he's been a huge, home run for recruiting battles.
E. Scott, man, that's a good dude. Like, he definitely knows how to coach. I like his coaching style. It reminds me of my old coach in high school. And, he just different. He just got that swag on him, like when it's something about when you're confident like that and you just, when you're confident, you believe in what he's talking about. And, he just taught me how to do a punt return looking into the sun, and I don't even play punt return, but that's just the type of coach he is. He trusts anybody with anything, and he's confident in anything, so that just makes you want to be confident in what you're doing for him.
How important is it for you guys to have kind of that happy but not satisfied mentality, especially when you're going to be favorites again?
We're definitely happy about the fact that, we've turned last year around, but we're not satisfied because we know we're better than what we are now. We definitely think we're better than what we are now. There's a lot of games, the 4 games we felt like we should have won, like Fresno, Boise. The games that we lost, we felt like we should have won. So, and it's a good mentality to have, because then like everybody's locked in and everybody just wants to win. You know, everybody's not thinking about themselves. So even just now in practice, we're still going out there like, okay, this team is what I want to say 0-5 or whatever their record is. We're still going out there and respecting them and like being ready to game plan on them so we could win and, you know, possibly be in a better bowl.
And you're focused on them this week, obviously, but bigger picture, what does it mean to you that this late in the season you're still alive for a Mountain West title?
To be alive for a Mountain West title, to hear that we're still alive, it's just like, well, the only thing we got to do now is win. You know, we can't, it's not about, oh, we're alive for this. If this happens, then we're in it. It's like, well, you know, regardless of whatever's happening outside of us, we just plan on winning these last 2 games.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
Questions for Devontae?
What does it mean to have so many young players contributing, man? How do you feel about your role out there and just what you guys have been able to do so far?
It feels good because these are the first guys you meet when you come out here. So it's nice to see your peers make plays. And since our class came in, it's just beautiful to see that we all contributing and just helping in every way we can.
How do you feel like you guys are really coming together as a team now? Like Devontae just said, you guys playing more as a whole, as a unit.
Well, I feel like we've been coming together since summers from all the hard workouts that Coach Simmons put us through. It's just starting to show more because people are starting to trust each other and trusting that your brother's going to do his assignment. So it's really just becoming a beautiful thing to watch because everybody's playing their assignment and everybody knows their role.
Are you getting excited now when the ball gets close and maybe they're going to call for that, I guess, wildcat type look? Do your eyes get real big? And
yeah, for sometimes I would hope that they'll let like some of them score. Like I say, Tua make a big run and he run down there. Sometimes I hope that they'll let him run that package. But yeah, sometimes I do be excited to come in and make a touchdown on short yardage.
Say, did you hear anything from him saying, "Man, I should have got in, so you didn't get that one. I gave you an easy one," anything like that?
Sometimes he be happy. Sometimes he be wanting it. So it'd be fun to play with him sometimes.
Did you do the Wildcat a lot in high school at all, or is that pretty
a little bit, not too much. We was really like in like type of a pistol set, so it really wasn't that much Wildcat.
Tua started with the Wildcat. How did you take that job from him?
He got his own package. It's 2 different packages. His is more a little speed, a little get somebody a little iffy, a little stick, and mine's more of the little pounded.
You guys have a lot of good running backs, but it seems like, you know, Coach has gone out of his way to make sure everybody has their own package and can do something. I mean, how important is that to you to see he's looking for, you know, I'm not just going to give 30 carries to this guy. I want everybody to have a chance to get out there.
It's beautiful because everybody got a different talent, got a different way of running the ball, and they really executed well by putting us in certain positions to make plays. So it's really exciting to see when you got so many backs can do so many different things. It's hard for defense to key on.
Coach has mentioned a few times over the season that a lot of times the best player on a high school team, especially maybe a small school, gets the ball all the time. He's the best athlete, the best player. If you get into a college level, and there's a huge adjustment. Do you think that applies to you? Do you think you needed to learn the college game a little bit after being the best guy on your team?
Well, it's like not really, but then again, you gotta adapt to certain situations. So if I can just come in and help the team however I can, that's just what I'm gonna do. So it's not really meaning of like adapting as much as it is just to be focused. You just gotta be focused more. The game speeds up, not really in like the play, but as in like what you need to learn and how you need to learn it, how fast and what you need to read. So it's really just about just stepping up and just helping whatever you can.
How important is it for you guys to just get to back to that preparation mentality, considering this is a game that people are going to expect you to win, but you got bigger fish you're hoping to fry?
Well, football is a game of inches, so at any time anybody can win. So you really just got to focus on every team as if they're the best team. So that's how Coach shows us every team. That's how he just shows us the layout for every team. So we just focus on one team and just try to get over them and focus then so we can focus on next week.
As a young guy in the backfield, how much of a blessing has it been to be with a senior quarterback who's just doing what he's been doing?
It's been really a blessing. Todd knows a lot. He's basically like having a coach on the field. So if you have any questions or anything, he's always there to help.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Question for Romeo?
Huge game for you last time out. How much has your confidence at playing wide receiver grown throughout this season?
The confidence, I mean, yeah, it's building up a whole lot more. I mean, at the beginning of the season, it was a rough start for me. However, the season isn't over, but yeah, I'm building up a whole lot more confidence.
Did you play wide receiver at all growing up, or was this pretty new?
Growing up, I mean, yeah, I was an athlete growing up, but as I started to like think of football a whole lot more, I started to like love the position of receiver. So I mean, I still have a whole lot more left here, and thanking God a lot. Appreciate it.
What was it about Nevada that appealed to you in the recruiting process, and making that switch over full time to a receiver?
I mean, Coach Norvell, he saw it all first. So I mean, when he first saw me, he knew from the beginning that I can come in and play as a wideout. He said it himself when I came for my official visit last year that I was a true wide receiver. So that's something I can appreciate him for a lot.
I mean, someone who's coached Jerry Rice and Marvin Harrison, I mean, that'd be pretty good to hear, from a guy who's literally written a book on wide receivers.
Yes, sir.
Quarterback last year, was it basically 100% you played quarterback? Did you do some running back? And I mean, what kind of offense did you guys run?
I ran the wing tee at Thomas Jefferson High School last year. However, I was that athlete on the team, so I had to pretty much step my game up for them, so that's pretty much it.
Receiver is a really deep position in Nevada. Have you been able to learn from guys like Caleb and McLean and guys who've been around? And is it little things like route running and all that? I mean, what are you learning from
I look at all of them, like Cole Turner, Elijah Cooks, Brendan, McLean Fall. I look at every one of them. I try to like see what they can do and I pick it up as much as I can. Like I look up to every one of them, all of them.
What is maybe the biggest lessons you've learned at that position?
The biggest lessons that I've learned is that like every game isn't going to be a good game, because at the beginning of the season it was a game where I was at one catch, and it was a pretty bad game for me. But I mean, as time go by, like you just get that experience in college football. Like it happens to everybody, even the greatest ones, So.
You do seem to appear to be like a next level kind of athlete, maybe a little bit different than everybody else out there on the field. Like, so when did you notice that you maybe had special athleticism or skills that the guys you were growing up with didn't have?
I mean, when my recruiting started, my 11th grade year, that's how I started to like build up on who I was actually. And I don't know, it's just everything was just falling in hand for me. Because, I mean, I was always a hardworking kid growing up, even with my older brother back at home, so.
The question I had for Devontae just a second ago, you mentioned you were the athlete on your team. You got the ball a lot. It's very typical. Best high school athlete gets the ball a lot. Did you anticipate coming to the Division I level that there was going to be more of a curve, that just not instant stardom?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty expected, I mean, coming out of high school, I already knew that coming into college football, it was going to be a different game for me, So, I mean, coming in during fall camp, it was a pretty bad start in fall camp, but I was able to, he was able to get me through those days, So.
You mentioned you weren't super satisfied with the opener, but unless I'm was dreaming you returned a punt for a touchdown in that game. Are you critical? Is it fair to say you're critical of yourself and you always are looking for improvement? Because that seems like a fairly harsh assessment to me.
I mean, I don't know. In that Portland State game, I mean, the ball, it just happened. Everything just happened. I mean, I didn't know it'd happen. I just made a move and then I just ran after that. So.
What did that tell you about yourself the first time you touched a ball in college?
After that, it pretty much told me it told me I can do a lot, you know, like as far as like hard working and being able to like just show what I can do in college football, you know. I mean, not to brag a little bit, but I mean, yeah, like, man.
Your high school you went to, I don't think it's typically highly recruited area, I guess.
Where I went to high school at, it was only one person getting out every like 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, even working out, doing everything I can do as a young kid in high school, I kind of figured that I would be the next one out. However, I didn't think it would be at that school, you know, so.
How did people start hearing about you in your recruiting service?
I mean, I played for James Finley. Well, right now, currently he's at Mater Dei High School, but I mean, he was the one that got me out. He was the one that told me to come to his 707 team and be able to show my athleticism to him. And then after that, the offers started coming and it just started to rack up, and it just happened.
Other teams that were looking at you, they want you at wide receiver or some other position?
I mean, some wanted me at quarterback, some wanted me playing defense, but truly I knew Nevada would offer at the wideout position, so I pretty much took advantage of that and I wanted to come here.
Is this what you expected from your first year? I mean, making big plays and getting in the end zone?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty expected. However, I didn't know it'll be coming, you know, so, yeah.
What does it mean to have all these seniors helping guide you and lead you guys, you and the rest of the freshmen? How much have you learned from them?
I mean, I learned a whole lot because in the game of college football, it's a lot mental, you know, so from the times where I had bad practices, from the times where I went down and missed a couple of days at practice, I learned that you got to pretty much push yourself through that, because falling down not going to do nothing but hurt you a whole lot more.
What do you make of this freshman class, and what does it mean to just be a part of such a talented group that is kind of paving the way for the future here?
Yeah, this freshman class coming in, yeah, it's pretty big. You know, like Toa, Devontae, I mean, it's a whole lot of us coming in playing, you know, and we even said it ourselves that Norvell would change this program around, being able to come and get us.
What's it been like to be on the receiving end of Ty Ganji this year, a guy who's been showing out the last couple of weeks, if not even longer than that?
I mean, being around Ty, I mean, I love Ty. I mean, whether if it's him not throwing me the ball or if he is throwing me the ball, like, I show the respect to him no matter what the situation is, always.
Is there somebody who came out of your neighborhood who really went on to do big things? You kind of maybe modeled yourself out or said, okay, this is a possibility, this is something I can do?
I mean, I talk about my older brother a whole lot because, you know, like, that was all who I had growing up. Like, as far as even football, like, working out and stuff, like, it hasn't paid off yet, but, I mean, it's only the beginning, you know, so. Yeah, like, it all started with him. Like, he just finished at Southern Utah University. Marcus Stamps, who was once upon a time at Thomas Jefferson High School, went to San Diego State, so he got out as well. But, I mean, not a lot of people around my area has pretty much gotten out.
What's been your brother's reaction then to, you know?
I mean, my brother's reaction, I mean, it wasn't a big reaction because, you know, like I said before, like, all the working out and stuff we do, it pays off. It's paying off right now, you know, so that is something who I can really, like, appreciate is him a lot.